Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol, and welcome to my CarVid19 Daily vlog, uploading a new video every evening at 6 PM to keep you sane during lockdown. Well, it's Monday, so it's time for another dog walk video. But before we start, happy Star Wars Day, everybody. May the 4th be with you. So, what's the subject for today's dog walk? Well, I want to talk about 3 videos. First of all, I want to talk about what I believe is some of my best work, but the most unappreciated in terms of views. Then I want to talk about the experience that YouTube presented me that I would never ever have had without YouTube, and a memory that is burnt deep inside me and I will never ever forget. And then finally, I want to talk about what I believe is the best film stroke video I've ever made of possibly one of the coolest things I've ever done. Come on, slow coach. Now, the reason for doing this video is a couple of things. Firstly, there's quite a lot of channels looking back at previous content, and it kind of got me thinking about some of the stuff I've done. And one of the beauties of YouTube is you upload videos and then they stay there forever. That can be a curse as well, mind you. But it is nice every now and again to dip back into your archive and look at the things you've done. They are this moment in history, a memory that's kind of burnt into megabytes on a memory card and uploaded into the wonders of YouTube. So let's start off with a film. Well, actually it's a series of videos that I made that, if you look at the view count, I mean, bearing in mind each of these CarVid19 vlogs I've been uploading for the last month are typically getting between 5,000 and 20,000 views, depending on the subject and so on. The videos we're about to talk about, I think each one struggled to do more than 2,000 views, yet the content for me was some of the best I've ever made. And that was 2 years ago when I catalogued becoming a racing driver. A little bit of backstory, and again I thought this might be useful for some of the new people that have joined my channel in maybe the last 6 months or so. A bit of backstory: I got very lucky to be invited to drive a Lancia Delta race car by a very cool guy called Richard Turbin, and I turned up to Donington Park for a very special day. But the guy who prepared and ran Richard's car, a guy called John Shields, throughout that day basically started asking me questions about whether I'd done any racing. I had my racing license, only a National B, but I'd only used that to do sprints. So at the end of the day, we basically offered to run the car for me and for me to race in a championship called the K-Tech Clio 182 Championship, actually in Richard's car. Richard used to race in that championship, and we put a plan together. And first thing he said was, well, basically you're not good enough driver just to jump into a racing car and go racing. We need to get you up to speed. Even though I'd done lots of track days and I thought I was a pretty good driver, it turned out I wasn't. So John hooked me up with a guy called Mark Hammersley, who is a driver coach, and we embarked on a crash course of how to be a racing driver, basically. First off, we went to Donington Park for my first session with Mark, and I think we took not that far off of 20 seconds off of my lap time in a day. I mean, it was an epic experience. We then went to Alton Park and ran the car at Alton Park for a day. We even ended up doing some wet running, and then the race weekend was at Donington Park, my home circuit, if you like. I grew up less than 10 miles from Donington Park and used to go there as a kid with my dad to watch motorsport. So those videos I catalogued, I was really proud of them. So let's just have a very brief look at the prep videos, the driver training videos. I'll put a little bit of a montage together so you can see how I got on. Kind of familiarisation and see if I've forgotten anything.
See if you remembered anything.
That's the one.
That's what. Would you like to tell good people on the internet what you've been
consequence of accuracy.
Steps in there. Optimal time at 2:08. I'll tell you what, mate, 2:08 is pretty well flying.
Yeah.
If we were in a 300 brake horse, fully prepared car with a race driver, we'd only be doing 2 minutes.
Now, I've created a playlist for all these videos, but I'll put a card up above of the first Donington Park day, and I'll also put links in the description below. After all of my training, we then went to Donington Park, and the whole race weekend I will never ever forget. It was perhaps one of the most incredible things I've ever done, but certainly the most terrifying. Sat on the grid at the beginning of the first race was just insane, and then this happened. So yeah, what a first lap, huh? Baptism of fire into motorsport. But I had multiple cameras running in the car. I will put a link to the full race video in the top right hand corner of your screen and in the description. And then the second race, well, that was just as mad. I got overexcited in the first race. I overdrove the car. I forgot everything Mark had taught me, and boy did I get a licking when I got back for the debrief afterwards. Second race was much better. I think I drove better, far smoother, had some brilliant dices, but it was just an incredible day. The problem is, motorsport content on the whole doesn't do well on YouTube unless you are a specific motorsport channel. I don't know, the algorithms just don't pick it up, they don't push it out, and for some reason, although I thought the content was great, it just didn't get watched. It was a bit disappointing really, but I don't care because that video and that playlist of videos is there, and I dip back into it regularly to see the first time I ever had a go at motor racing. The following year, I raced with a good friend of mine, Alex from Peak Performance Reviews, in the Enduro Car Championship. I did a couple of rounds with them, and I've raced enough now to upgrade my racing license so that I don't need one of those novice crosses on the back of the car, which is quite cool. So talking about racing licenses, let's talk about the next thing, the next video, and this is the experience that I had, and actually it's 2 years running at Festival of Speed. But I wanted to talk about this one because one of the things you guys don't see behind the scenes is the huge amounts of hard work all of us put into building relationships. Now, in the early days of your channel, come on girls, in the early days of your YouTube channel, those relationships are with local car dealers. Then you start to get exposed to manufacturers and the press teams in manufacturers, and you build relationships with those, and that's how you get offered press cars and get onto press trips and so on. So the backstory to this video is that I'd had an Abarth 124 Spider press car from Abarth. Now Abarth sits within a group of manufacturers called FCA, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, but I'd never met the press team. So In Festival of Speed 2018, one of the things that you find yourself doing as a YouTuber at Festival of Speed is not really looking at the event very much anymore. I just see it as a way to meet people. I have lots of meetings, lots of introductions to people. So I went and met the guys from FCA. It's the first time I'd ever met them face to face. We had a coffee on their stand, got on famously, and one of the things that came out in the conversation was the fact I had my race license, which for a YouTuber is not a common thing. There are, you know, there are plenty of YouTubers that have them, but it's not a mega common thing. And I thought nothing else of it. Went off into the park, happy with a good meeting. They were pleased with my 124 Spider video, and I thought, yep, I think I've got a good relationship starting there. About half an hour later, one of the guys from the press team, Christina, rang me and said, "Are you around? Where are you? We've got a problem. We've got a historic Alfa that needs to drive up the hill in the next batch, and our driver's turned up with the wrong license. Can you come and meet me in the assembly area and drive our car up the hill?" Now, when you drive up the hill at Goodwood, you can drive up the hill on the Thursday with just a normal road license, but if you want to drive up on the Friday, Saturday or Sunday, it's under MSA conditions, you need a race license, and it is a very, very different thing. So I said, look, all my kit's in my car, and they went, don't worry, we'll meet you in the assembly area with a race suit and helmet and everything. So I rock up, and the next thing I'm presented with this beautiful Alfa Romeo 1900 SS, straight from the Alfa Romeo Museum, a priceless car. And what happened next was just a whirlwind of, I just didn't really know what to do. Such an incredible experience, one I will never forget, but it went so fast and it was so rushed and so, you know, we just didn't know what we were doing. I kind of didn't get to enjoy it that much. So luckily the following year, 2019, Alfa Romeo invited me before the event, so I knew it was going to happen, to drive the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio Alfa Romeo Racing Edition. I had to practice saying that one. And I knew I was going to do it, and I got to fulfill a couple of things. First things first, you get access to the Drivers Club. I got my Drivers Club medal. Secondly, this is really sad, I know, but I got to walk through the Festival of Speed Park in my race suit with my helmet. And that was just, I never thought that would ever happen. And then finally I got to drive the Giulia Quadrifoglio up the hill, and when I got in the car I actually took an instructor, or the driver, with me, because I just thought I'm going to get the most out of the experience, and I'm so glad I did, because the first thing he said to me was, right, we're going to do a burnout off the line. All right, so let's see how I got on.
Miles an hour through the bridge.
In downtown LA or in downtown London or the south of France. Meanwhile, let's go up a mountain pass.
What have we got here? This is the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio in Alfa Romeo Racing Edition. So it's the same 2.9 litre Ferrari derived V6, putting out about 520 horsepower. We're only making 10 of these.
just an incredible experience, and I know for a fact one that I would never have got had it not been for YouTube. I could argue the case for many of the things I've done, great press trips and so on, but for me, as a Goodwood fan, having been to Goodwood for many, many years, living so close to Goodwood, to actually drive a car up the hill in a batch at Festival of Speed, having done it twice now, and I have driven cars up on the Thursday as well, and I've been a passenger up the hill and on the rally stage a few times, and it is just incredible. So that leads me to the final thing, or final video I wanted to have a look back at, and that is maybe the best video I've ever made. Now, that's a really big statement, I know, but I honestly think this next video is the best, and it was helped by the fact I think it was the best press trip I've ever done, and there was also a professional videographer came along, and you're all Mini fans, so you're gonna love this one. It was my time that I drove one of 3 John Cooper Works Mini hatches down to Turin to recreate the Italian job. Now that, my friend, is something very special.
Look at the ramps behind.
Oh, wow! So we are on the roof of the Lingotto, and I'm gonna drive around the bank. Oh my goodness me! This is absolutely crackers. This is crackers. This is horrible.
Really very strange.
Oh, what on earth? That happened. Do it again. Now I'll put a link to that full video just above me, but again, it was one of those ones, it was such an amazing experience and great video. It did okay in terms of views, but I honestly thought I was going to melt the internet with that one, and it just didn't happen. But again, sometimes that's not a problem. But I want to finish on, and one of the things or the drivers for me doing this video is the thing you don't see as someone watching YouTube content necessarily, unless you start to get to know the YouTuber or the content creator, is that when we create content, we create it, but we never know whether it's going to do well or not. You sometimes have an inkling, but you never know whether YouTube's algorithms are going to like it and push it out to people. You never know whether people are going to resonate with it and share it to their friends, and it's going to snowball and get the views. And sometimes videos do really well that surprise you, and you just had no idea that was going to be the case. And other times you put your heart and soul into a video and it just doesn't do anything. The Racing Driver series was a great example of that. I honestly thought, how many of us want to be or have a go at motor racing? We've been on track days and want to do it. Well, I thought if I document my whole journey through learning how to be a racing driver, going to my first race, surely that's going to resonate with people. And it just didn't. So it can be quite a pressurized thing if you go to a press event, or if you get invited to do something and you make content and it doesn't do well. That creates a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. But then again, we do get to do some amazing things. Anyway, guys, another dog walk. The girls have been very good. Hallie is up that way somewhere, sniffing and eating fox poo as her norm, and Darcy's all the way over there. Come on, dude. Here she comes. Come on, we're going this way. We've not finished yet. She's such a slow coach. My goodness, look at her. Come on. Mind you, that's what you get. She's coming up to 9 now. And that one over there, look, she's just trouble. She's only 1.5. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. What a beautiful day it is today. A little bit more cloudy, but absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. But I hope you enjoyed that. If you have done so, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you on the next film, guys. But you take care. Stay safe.